Learning about world religions, Hinduism. What are the origins and beliefs of Hinduism? Introduction. Hinduism is the most influential religion in modern India and the third largest religion in the world. The ancient traditions that gave rise to Hinduism have shaped Indian life and societies in other parts of the world. This way of life has affected numerous religious practices and even daily routines like diet and exercise. Hinduism has inspired art and literature, as well as leaders and thinkers around the world. Hinduism is even the foundation for yoga. Hinduism has evolved over thousands of years in different societies. Most Hindus share common concepts such as believing in one supreme being who can take on a male or female form and forms found in nature. One of the basic teachings of Hinduism is Dharma, which refers to the behavior necessary to achieve the highest good. To follow one's Dharma means to dedicate oneself to performing one's duties and obligations. The Ramayana is a well known ancient text sacred to many Hindus. It tells stories about life in ancient India that offer role models in Dharma. For example, one of the central figures of the Ramayana, Rama, lives by the principles of Dharma. When Rama is a young boy, he is a loyal son. When he grows up, he is a loving husband and a responsible ruler. In this lesson, you will explore the origins of Hinduism. You will learn about Dharma and other Hindu concepts, Brahman, moksha, deities, karma, and samsara. Finally, you will learn how Hinduism continues to impact Indian culture. The origins of Hinduism. No single person founded Hinduism. Beginning in the Indus River Valley and spreading throughout India, Hinduism developed over thousands of years as a collection of traditions. Some scholars suggest that in the second millennium BCE or earlier, groups of nomadic people speaking Indo European languages migrated into northern India. These nomads, sometimes called Aryans, brought to India their gods and rituals, some of which eventually became part of Hinduism. Other scholars believe Hinduism developed from within the Indian subcontinent among native groups. Hinduism drew on local traditions, which, over thousands of years, allowed a wide range of practices and beliefs to arise in different parts of India. The roots of Hinduism are found in the Vedas, which most Hindus believe contain eternal truths. The Vedas are a collection of sacred texts, including verses, hymns, prayers, and teachings composed in Sanskrit. Veda is Sanskrit for knowledge. The understanding of the Vedas expanded over centuries in India, as the teachings of the Vedas were handed down orally from generation to generation. Before India had a written form of Sanskrit, centuries later, this understanding spread to other parts of Asia, particularly Southeast Asia, where its influence is still present today in countries such as Indonesia, Cambodia, Thailand, and Vietnam. Vedic culture includes rituals and sacrifices that honor a number of deities, gods, and goddesses associated with nature. Over time, these rituals became more complex. Priests and religious scholars called Brahmins grew increasingly important. They were responsible for interpreting the Vedas, performing the necessary rituals, and teaching the Vedas to future generations. The religion itself was not called Hinduism until much later, and over the years it has become known as Sanatana Dharma and Brahmanism. Modern day Hinduism is a diverse religion shaped by various cultures, traditions, languages, and populations, but it is also held together by its core ideals. Many beliefs, forms of worship, and deities are shared, but often differ from place to place. The Vedas, to which Hinduism traces its roots, are sacred to nearly a billion Hindus worldwide. Along with later sacred texts, the Vedas explain some of the core concepts of Hinduism. As you will see, these ideas have had a significant impact on the world. Hinduism and social structure. As Hinduism continued to grow and change, its teachings influenced the shape of Indian society. In fact, the development of India's social structure was loosely based on principles found in Hinduism. Early Hinduism viewed society as a sum of equal parts. The Vedas describe four main social classes or varnas necessary to a functioning society: Brahmins, who are priests, scholars, and teachers; Kshatriyas, rulers and warriors; Vaishyas, who are merchants, artisans, and farmers; and Shudras, who are servants and laborers. According to the Vedas, each Varna had its own duties according to one's talent and natural calling. For example, Brahmins studied and taught the Vedas. Warriors had a duty to become skilled with weapons. Separate from the idea of the four Varnas was the existence of social groups called jatis. Jatis developed as Indian society shifted away from herding and hunting to other occupations. Each jati was generally associated with a particular job. Over the centuries, the number of jatis grew, and their place in the social hierarchy became very complex. The jatis were based on one's occupation or job, as well as birth, unlike the varnas. In time, different jatis became associated with the four broader varnas. Eventually, jatis became more rigid, evolving into what is called the caste system. Hindu reformers like Indian freedom leader Mahatma Gandhi criticized the ideas of hierarchy and discrimination within the caste system, arguing that it had no place in Indian society and did not fit with Hindu teachings. Every jati usually had its own lifestyle, occupations, customs, and traditions, and rules about social interaction. Over time, certain groups became excluded because they did work that other Indians were unwilling to do or considered lowly, like handling garbage or dead animals. People from these jatis were often not allowed to enter houses of worship or attend many schools. They have been referred to as untouchables. Today, while caste discrimination is illegal in India, it continues to exist in some parts of the country. Many scholars point out that caste practices are not as prevalent in urban parts of India, and that very few of Indian descent living outside the Indian subcontinent still identify by caste.